Ly Tu Diem greets everyone, wishing everyone a new day of health and peace in life. Every wound can bloom. CEO Toan and Ly Tu Diem give their adopted son a special gift when the baby boy turned 3 months old. The rain had just stopped, leaving the morning sky tender and silver. Sunlight filtered softly through the lace curtains, spilling over the quiet living room where tiny socks were scattered near a plush blue blanket. In the middle of it all, little baby Lynn let out a soft coo 3 months old today, and already the center of an entire universe. For Ly Tu Diem, every breath the baby took was a reminder that even the deepest wounds could bloom into something beautiful. She still remembered the day she first held him abandoned, crying, cold but in her arms. He had found warmth, and in his eyes, she had found hope. Toan entered the room holding a wooden box. His expression both proud and nervous, Diem looked up with gentle surprise. "I had this made," he said quietly, kneeling beside her, for him, for us. Inside the box was a delicate silver bracelet, engraved with the date they first met their son and the words, "You are our beginning." Diem felt her chest tighten. The woman who had once hidden in forest huts, terrified and alone, was now cradled in love with a man who saw through her scars and a child who had taught them both the meaning of family. "We didn't give him life," she whispered, brushing her fingers over the bracelet, "but he gave us a reason to live." Toan smiled, his eyes warm with emotion, "and we'll make sure he grows up never questioning how deeply he's loved." That evening, they held a quiet celebration. No lavish decorations, no guests. Just the 3 of them, Toan, Diem, and their little son watching the candle flicker in the stillness of their shared home. And in that soft, glowing silence, it was clear. Not every beginning starts with perfection. Some begin in pain, but with enough love, every wound can bloom. As night fell, Diem stood quietly by the window, holding Lynn against her chest. His tiny hand clutched her shirt as he drifted into a peaceful sleep. Outside, the wind rustled the leaves, but inside their home, warmth bloomed like spring after a long winter. Toan approached her with 2 cups of warm ginger tea. "You haven't sat down all evening," he said softly. Diem smiled, tired but content. I didn't think I'd ever get to live something like this. A real family." Toan put his arm around her. "We build it, slowly, painfully, but it's ours now." They sat together on the couch, Lynn nestled between them, wrapped in his soft blanket. Diem gently touched the bracelet again, the one Toan had made. Her eyes welled up, but this time not from sorrow. These were the tears of a woman who had been broken, but not destroyed. A woman who had been unloved, yet now found herself cherished beyond words. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Toan stood, puzzled, at this hour. He opened the door to see his sister, Nung, standing there with a hesitant look and a small wrapped box in her hand. I wasn't sure if I should come," she said. Toan's posture stiffened, but Diem walked over calmly, still holding the baby. Nung looked at Diem, then at Lynn. Her eyes softened. "I judged it quickly," she murmured. "But watching you both is seeing how gentle you were with him. I realized I was wrong. I came to say sorry, and to meet my nephew, if you'll allow me." Diem glanced at Toan, then stepped forward slowly. "Would you like to hold him?" Nung's eyes widened in disbelief. "May I?" As she cradled the tiny boy in her arms, something shifted in the air along standing wall, gently breaking apart. "He looks peaceful," Nung whispered, "like he knows he's safe." Diem nodded. "We all are, for the first time in a long while." That night, over simple laughter and quiet forgiveness, their family grew not just in number, but in understanding. A new chapter had begun, and it was no longer just about healing wounds. It was about planting roots and watching love bloom, one quiet moment at a time. The days that followed Nung's visit felt lighter, as if the entire house had exhaled a breath it didn't know it was holding. The unspoken tension that had once hung between the siblings had melted away, replaced with gentle gestures and newfound respect. For the first time, Diem felt like she truly belonged not just in Toan's heart, but in his family. One golden afternoon, as sunlight poured through the open windows and baby Lin giggled in his crib, Nung brought over an old photo album. This, she said, placing it on the table, was Toan when he was a baby. He used to cry nonstop unless I sang to him. Now look at him, CEO and Dad. Toan chuckled, pulling Diem closer as they flipped through the pages. Lin cooed happily, as if sensing he was part of something beautiful and lasting. Nung then looked at Diem, her voice sincere. I used to think blood defined a family, but now I see sometimes love chooses us and you. You've given my brother a reason to believe again. Diem blinked back emotion. She didn't need grand speeches. This quiet acceptance was more than enough. A week later, when Lin turned 4 months old, Toan surprised them both. After dinner, he led Diem and the baby into the backyard, where fairy lights danced under the stars. On a small table lay 3 envelopes. One for each of us, he smiled, letters for the future. He handed the first to Lin, sealed with a wax stamp. Diem opened hers slowly. Inside was a handwritten promise. For every tear you've cried, I will give you peace. For every day you felt alone, I will be beside you. For every wound you carry, I will help you bloom. I love you, not just for what you've survived, but for who you've become. Toan. Diem's hands trembled as she read. No one had ever written her words like these. No one had ever seen her so clearly. As Toan gently kissed her forehead, baby Lin gurgled with delight, reaching his small arms toward the lights above. And in that moment, Diem knew this wasn't just a new life. This was a new beginning for all 3 of them. The soft glow of the backyard lights lingered in Diem's memory long after the evening faded. It wasn't just a moment, it was a turning point. Since that night, something had shifted deep inside her. The fear of being abandoned, the scars of betrayal, the quiet ache of never being chosen, those burdens began to loosen their grip. The days passed with a gentle rhythm. Diem and Toan took turns waking at night to soothe baby Lin, who had begun to recognize their voices, their touch. He would stretch his tiny hands toward them, eyes full of trust, and Diem often found herself whispering, "You are safe now, little one. We are, too." Toan, ever the planner, started organizing a small gathering to celebrate Lin turning 5 months old. Nothing big, he promised, seeing Diem's nervous glance. Just our close friends, a few of my employees who've become like family. I want people to see you not as someone I rescued, but the woman I deeply love and respect. Diem gave a soft nod. She was learning, day by day, to let love in. But what truly took her by surprise was what Toan did next. One morning, as she was feeding Lin near the window, a quiet knock came at the door. It was Nung, Toan's sister, holding a small, carefully wrapped box. "I know it's not much," Nung said, placing the box in Diem's hands, "but I want Lin to have something from our childhood." Inside was a delicate silver bracelet, once worn by Toan as a baby. The engraving on the inside read, "Be brave, little one." Diem held it close, tears stinging her eyes. "I've been hard on you," Nung continued, her voice soft but steady. "I judged before I knew your heart, but I've seen how you love this boy, how you love my brother, and I just want to say, I'm proud he found you." The 2 women stood there in silence for a moment, no drama, no grand speeches, just honesty, just healing. That night, Diem slipped the tiny bracelet around Lynn's wrist. He wriggled and babbled, fascinated by its shine. Toan came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "He's lucky," he whispered. "We're all lucky," she replied. In that quiet, tender space, where old wounds were finally closing and new joy was beginning to bloom, Diem realized something. Love didn't just find her, she had finally learned to receive it. And for the first time in her life, she felt completely, unshakably home. In life, pain and hardship can leave us feeling broken, unworthy, and afraid to trust again. But as the story of Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan reminds us, every wound has the potential to bloom into something beautiful if we allow love to enter. Diem's journey from rejection to acceptance teaches us that healing is not always about forgetting the past, but about finding people who help us carry it with compassion. Her quiet strength, her willingness to open her heart again, and her devotion to a child who needed love, those are the marks of true courage. Toan, too, shows that real love is not just grand gestures or wealth. It's about protection, patience, and standing by someone even when their past is heavy. Together, they prove that family is not defined by blood, but by the depth of care and sacrifice we offer each other. The greatest gift we can give someone is not perfection in his presence. Being there, staying through the storms, and choosing love every single day. So, to every viewer who has ever felt lost or unloved, remember, your story isn't over. You, too, can bloom, even from pain. Light can grow. And when love is rooted in kindness and truth, it has the power to heal the deepest wounds.